Let me tell you about a fun little story that happened to me the other day. Last week, I was actually walking by the park, and then this lady, this wonderful psychic, told me that my mom is getting out of prison. Now, normally, this would be amazing news, except for one little detail. My mom hasn't really been in prison for several years. Oh, there was that one other time, but we don't talk about that. The point is, this woman assumed that my mom would be coming out of prison. Why? I don't know. How did she come to that conclusion? I don't know. And what does this have to do with the podcast? Well, everything. Because the point of the matter is that when you try to make a product and you don't really understand what your audience thinks or how your audience operates, and you just assume that, hey, I think they're going to love this. Or, hey, why don't you guys enjoy this? When you don't really actually take the time to figure out what your audience wants, what happens is that you end up coming off like that psychic. You come with wrong guesses, wrong estimates, and you make really stupid decisions based on really stupid assumptions. And we all have heard about the term called, don't assume, because otherwise you make an ass out of you and me. Which, when I really think about it, you can't really make an ass out of me because the only person you make an ass of is you. But the point of the matter is that when you're actually coming time for you to figure out what your audience wants or what your audience needs, and you just go ahead and skip that step and decide to say, you know what, I think I know the audience better than they know themselves, then your product is pretty much doomed to fail. And this could result in a lot of things. You probably have a good product, but you may have very bad copy. So you're not really speaking about how the audience actually cares about. Or you may try to actually solve a problem that the audience doesn't really think it's really worthwhile to pay for. Or basically you actually end up creating a product that, it's kind of okay. I can see someone else wanting it, but I don't want it myself. Or you may actually have the product directed at the wrong target market. So when you don't take time to actually acquire what your audience wants or figure out what they're actually looking for, what happens is that, you start wasting time, money, and resources. And honestly, especially if you're starting up a business or you have a small business or you're actually working for like other startups and other companies, you don't want to just jump out and just say, hey, you know what? I think I know the audience better than me. So the audience is always going to be, they're not always going to be honest about what they say. Always figure out what they actually do way more than what they're actually saying. So someone can say like, hey, I want my laptop to be pink. But you give them a pink laptop and they don't buy it, then honestly, it's not really dire enough for them to actually want to get it. And another thing you actually want to take focus on is what is it that your audience actually wants? What actually drives the most engagement? Is it negative? Is it positive? So, for example, your audience probably may want your product, but they may be certain things that are actually wrong with how other people use their products. So let's take, for example, you have an Amazon product that you actually want to just push out. But the thing is that it's not really selling. And you probably rush it out and you said, hey, it has a proven market. How come no one else is buying it? Well, audiences are very honest when it comes to actually figuring out what they actually want. So one of the things you can actually do if you are selling like an e-commerce product is to look at Amazon reviews. That's actually a very good source. It comes from people who actually have bought the product and what they're actually looking for. And one of the things you can actually look for in that is that you want to separate to 3 categories. And you want to try to find the commonalities between what each of their audience is actually saying. So you got the super positive, so that's like 5-star. You got the middle ground, which is like 3-star. And you got the really hated one, like 1 star. I'll give this 0 stars if I could. And what you can actually look for are the commonalities of what people are actually looking for. And also, one step is that when it comes to acquiring what your audience actually wants, is that if you've see certain phrases that they actually end up using, you can actually end up incorporating that into your copy as well. So if someone says like, I really like how these bass speakers do not have like this desktop buffle or this desktop mud when I'm using them to edit out music, you can actually incorporate that into your copy when you are actually trying to actually sell your own speakers. So that's actually one example that you could actually look forward to when you want to try to figure out like, how do I figure out what my audience actually wants? Another place you can actually go and check out is social media. So usually people are actually very forthcoming about how they feel about products they actually bought on social media. Either they love it or they don't love it. And one of the things you can actually look for, especially when you're looking for like past experience of what actually people are looking for when they actually bought a product that's maybe similar to yours, is looking for what they actually say. Again, you can incorporate that into your copy as well.